Absolute value notes, day 1. You've probably dealt with absolute value in the past, so we're going to do just a little review. Absolute value is a way to measure distance. You never say I live -5 miles from school. You always say how far you are from somewhere as a positive number. So the absolute value is basically asking, how far are you from 0 on the number line? So if I had a number line up here, and there's 0, if I'm here, absolute value says I'm 5 units from 0. If I'm over here, absolute value would say I am 4 units from 0. Because we never say I'm -10 miles from Burnsville. Okay. So the symbol for absolute value is 2 vertical lines. So if you have 8 inside these, that's saying the absolute value of 8 is asking the question, how far away from 0 is 8? And of course the answer is, you're 8. Now, this question is saying, how far is -8 from 0? And again, the answer is 8. So the absolute value of 8 equals the absolute value of -8, which equals 8, which means both 8 and -8 are 8 units from 0. Okay. Another way to think of this, anything inside these two lines are like a shower. Anything in there comes out clean. If you go in there dirty or negative, you're going to come out clean also. So that's another way to think of it, is that those absolute value symbols are like a shower, and when you come out of the shower, you're clean. So here's some examples. The absolute value of 9, of course, is just 9. The absolute value of -9 is still 9. The absolute value of 18 is just 18. The absolute value of -48 is positive 48. So notice every answer to these is negative, or is positive. Here I have the absolute value of 8 times the absolute value of -8. Well, the absolute value of 8 is just 8, and the absolute value of -8 is 8. So it's 8 times 8 is 64. So the first thing you want to do is get rid of the absolute value symbols, and then you can multiply. So here, the absolute value of -9 is just 9, and the absolute value of -8 is just 8. So the answer is 72. Here, the absolute value of 7 is 7, the absolute value of -4 is 4, so that's 28. Now, if there's a negative sign outside the absolute value, that stays in the problem. So this says the absolute value of -7, which would be 7, but there's a negative sign, so it's -7. This is the absolute value of 5, which is -5, which is 5, and there isn't a negative sign in front, so I just keep the 5. When I multiply those two together, I get -35. So if there's a negative sign outside the absolute value, that's going to keep it negative. So they both have negatives on the outside. So even though this is going to come out of the absolute value as +7, that negative sign is going to still be there. So this would be 8 plus 9 is 17, because both of those will turn positive. Here it'd be +20 divided by +4, which of course is 5. And here, because there's a negative sign outside the absolute value, it's going to be -100 divided by +20, which is -5. So the only negative signs that disappear are the ones that are inside the absolute value.